Now, New Zealand is one of the easiest countries in the world to start a business, according to the 2016 World Bank Doing Business survey. So let's say you have a great idea and you want to start a business. That's excellent. But where do you start? How do you make the dream of your new business into a reality? Do you have what it takes to make it a success? Now this video, it's a compilation of previous videos, so please excuse the change in lighting, clothing, but this video will give you an overview of the best way to start a business and highlight what you need to do to give your business the best chance of success. You will need to find out if your idea will work as a business. An idea that will be a commercial success and a good idea, well, they're not always the same thing. Simple ideas are often the best. Is there a gap in the market that you can fill with a new product or service? Or can you adapt and improve an already existing idea? You need to consider the potential success of any new project before you leave your job, borrow money, and put your family life on the line. Successful businesses solve a problem or fill an unfulfilled need. Will your new business do this? If your answer is no, forget it. Start again, come up with a new idea. However, if your answer is yes, how big is the scale of the need or the problem? If it's a niche issue, you might be struggling to make sales, grow the business, and feed the family. The need or problem you are solving must provide something your potential customers cannot get elsewhere, or solve a major problem for them. The size of the market is crucial in defining whether you have a viable business that you can grow or a business that will struggle to support you in the long term. There is no right or wrong way to write a business plan. Start at how you would like the business to look when it's well established and work backwards from there. Now this will help you set goals for the business and plan how you will reach them. Starting out, your business plan should be detailed. If you know where you're going, it's much easier to get there. Business plans do vary from business to business and from industry to industry. It's important to have a plan that suits both you and your business. So take the following areas and include them in your plan, especially the points most suited to your business. Think of this as your 60-second pitch. You need to get straight to the point and describe what your business is all about in less than 120 words. It's usually a good idea to write this last once you've thought through the rest of your plan. Being able to describe your business clearly and succinctly to others is the first step in success. What does your business stand for? Now this should be brief and achievable. Sum up in one sentence what your business is all about, where you want to go, and how you'll get there. Make sure you include in your plan your guarantee and USP. USP is your unique selling point, the reason your products or services stand out from the rest. Unless you're going to sell something no one else has ever had or provide a service never seen before, you'll be in a crowded market and you'll be competing against other businesses with guarantees and USPs. While you don't want to limit your customer base, the clearer picture you have of your target market, the easier it will be to communicate with them. Once your business is operational, you should be able to update this using real sales data and nail down who your target market actually is. Set out major business goals for the period covered by the plan, plus various milestones you want to reach along the way. Your objectives should be realistic, and they should also follow the acronym SMART. So SMART stands for specific. If the goal is too general, you'll lose focus. Measurable, so you can tell whether you're on track or need to make changes. Achievable. Large goals can seem daunting, so break them down into smaller individual steps. Relevancy. Your objectives should directly contribute to your overall business goals. Timing, time frame. Have a deadline that provides urgency and focus. This outlines your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now this helps you compare your business against your competitors and build on your strengths and opportunities and mitigate your weaknesses and threats. How will you let people know about you and what you offer. Set out some sales targets and plan your strategy to achieve them. Set a budget for achieving your sales plan and be clear about how you will measure your success. Who are you targeting your products or services at? How old are they? Where do they live? What are their interests? Understanding your customer will help you shape your products and marketing in a way that's most likely to reach them and appeal to them once you've reached them. When building your business plan, describe your main competitors. There may be competitors who aren't in your precise sector of business, but you may still be competing against them for the same customer dollar. Now, it's a really good idea to do a SWOT analysis as best you can on each of your main competitors. Then make use of this information by assessing how your business could reduce your competitors' strengths and opportunities while also taking advantage of your competitors' weaknesses and be a threat to them. Your financial forecasts are one of the most important parts of your business plan. They show how much money you need to make to cover your operating expenses and then make a profit. They are also critical if you're approaching investors. Your business plan should contain a cash flow forecast, a balance sheet forecast. Calculate how much your business will need to get going, what assets and equipment you will need, and include purchases of capital things like buildings, land, vehicles, machinery and equipment, anything that you think is necessary to get your business running. Okay, a USP is your unique selling proposition. Obviously, I said that before. It's what makes your business different and sets you apart from the rest. A good USP can make all the difference in how well you do in your industry. It works like this. Rather than telling customers what you do, tell them what you will do for them. To the general public, everybody in your industry, well, they all kind of seem the same. You know that that's not true though. Determining what makes you unique, what your differences are, and what sets you apart so the public will know how they will benefit from doing business with you is what a USP does. So for a USP to work, a magical act of transformation must take place. Think about your product or service. Now features, they've got to be turned into benefits. Now, a feature is anything you have designed into the product or service, and a benefit is what the customer gets out of it. Now, a feature may be useful in its own right, but it's not of a compelling interest to a customer in and of itself. The benefit is, as this is the solution to a customer's problem. So tell your customers how you can ease his pain or solve their problem, and they will buy from you. Customers, clients, people, they will not use you unless they're going to get some kind of benefit from your product or service. So you have to clearly and succinctly tell and show them how they will benefit from doing business with you. Your USP should be able to fit into 1 or 2 sentences. The easier it is for customers to understand what makes you different, the better chance you'll have of them buying from you. Next, be confident in your message. If people don't believe you offer something unique and valuable enough for them to spend their hard-earned money on it, well, why would they? So be honest about what sets your business apart from others in the same field, because this will help establish trust between your clients, your customers, your consumer, and yourself, as well as other business within your industries. In addition, being honest means not selling people false promises. Instead of offering something tangible like discounts off future purchases or free shipping options instead. Focus on what matters, and that's making money. Most business failures come from not concentrating on the money. You will have a much easier path to success if you are making money from day one. Ensure that you are profitable means all your transactions have to be looked at. You need a tight control on budgeting, purchasing, and your general expenses. How much will you charge? What are customers willing to pay for your product and service? And what are your competitors charging? Do a simple test and measure by sampling a group of potential customers. Now, this can be done via Facebook groups, surveys, etc. Are there accepted industry standards or price regulations for your type of service or product? How will your prices appear to customers? Now, if you appear too cheap, you may be thought of as poor quality. But can you charge more because you're adding value? You have better quality product or service, a guarantee, and maybe just superior service. In the beginning, it's all about the cash flow. You will have to understand your break-even point and what that means in terms of monthly sales and revenue. Have you been realistic in your budgeting with both revenue and costs? If your cash flow shows you're not making any money or won't make any money for a while, do you have the reserves, the cash in the bank to get you through to when your business is making a profit? You'll have to decide if this is an idea worth your effort, your investment in time and money, or should you pursue another, maybe a better idea? Before setting up, especially if you are renting premises, check with your local council. Each local authority has its own rules and regulations about what business activity is allowed and in what areas. For instance, it's unlikely you'll be able to run an automotive repair workshop in a residential neighbourhood. You will need a liquor license if you intend to sell alcohol and meet food preparation standards if you are serving or manufacturing food. Now, some councils allow a business to be run from home, others do not. You will have to choose which legal business structure that best suits you. Now, the most common are sole trader, partnership, or limited liability company. Each structure offers various benefits and considerations. Depending on which you choose, you may have to register with various government bodies. A sole trader operates a business on their own. They can employ people, but the trader controls, manages, and owns the business and is entitled to all the profits. Usually, a sole trader business can be established without any paperwork. Partnerships are most commonly used for professional people, lawyers, accountants, doctors, people like that. Partnerships can be an effective way to share business operational costs where, for example, several people work out of maybe the same office. A limited liability company, or an LLC, is a formal and legal entity in its own right, and it's separate from shareholders or owners. Shareholders' liability for losses is limited to their share of the ownership of the company. The limited liability company is New Zealand's most successful business structure. Irrespective of which entity you choose, if there is more than one of you, I cannot stress the importance of having a shareholders agreement in place. It should set out how the business will trade, the roles, remunerations, and expectations of the various shareholders, and most importantly, how will that entity be dissolved at the end? Will it be closed down, sold, partnership, shareholder buyout, and how will value be calculated? That agreement should be detailed, and the process should be detailed for each of these things. Please get it prepared by a lawyer experienced in these matters. So the NZBN number, it's a 13-digit number that's assigned to each registered New Zealand business entity. Now that includes companies, partnerships, trusts, sole aid traders, government agencies and non-profit organisations. It was introduced into the market by the New Zealand government in 2013, and the idea is to simplify business interactions, especially with government agencies. It provides a single consistent identifier that can be used across multiple government and business systems, reducing the need for businesses to provide the same information repeatedly. Now, having an NZBN does not imply any legal status or registration. It's simply a unique identifier that helps streamline business processes and improve the accuracy of information sharing between businesses and government agencies. Now, businesses can use their NZBN to assess and update their core business information, such as company details, addresses, contact information, and other relevant data on various government websites. So, if you're a New Zealand business, or if you're in New Zealand and you're in business, you can obtain your NZBN by registering your entity with the New Zealand Companies Office, or whichever relevant government agency is suitable for you. Now, make sure you understand the legal structure of your business or organisation. The process and agency you need to register with may vary depending on whether you're a company, sole trader, partnership, trust, non-profit organisation or government agency. So based on your entity type, identify the relevant government agency to register with. So as I said, you'll need to have the necessary information about your entity. So you'll need its legal name, trading name, if there is one, business address, contact details, and other relevant information to enter into the system. Now, some entity types may require additional documentation, so check the specific requirements for whatever business entity you're running. Now, it's easy enough just to follow the registration process online, and I won't go through it here, but filling out online forms, providing supporting documents, and paying any application fees is pretty simple. The registration forms will prompt you to enter your NZBN, which is then assigned to you during the process. Your business name is a crucial part of your brand, and it will shape both your marketing and your image in the market you operate in. So have a think about it. A good business name should be memorable. It should be unique, but most importantly, it should tell people what you do. Now, you can have a registered name that is different to your trading name. For example, I could use the company name as ABC Limited, but I could trade as Peter's Business Brokers. Now, the name you publicly use, the trading name, well, that can be almost anything. Just be sure you don't infringe on trademarks or use restricted words. It's best to use a name that hasn't been registered with the New Zealand Companies Office or isn't similar to one that is registered. Now, you may be liable for legal action under the Fair Trading Act if you use a trading name that is the same as another registered company, especially if that company is in the same field as you and they believe you're passing your business off as theirs. There are strict guidelines on how to choose and reserve a company name, and there are names that aren't acceptable under the Companies Act, and these can be found listed on the company's website. The name you choose cannot be identical or almost identical to that of another company. The New Zealand government run a website called OneCheck, which will let you compare the availability of a business name you have chosen with existing company names, domain names, and trademarks. So it's a very handy tool. Now, once you've decided on your name, even if it's your own personal name, use OneCheck to see if it's available. Now, the site has a number of search features, and one of the best features it has is its ability to check any name or combination of names for availability as a business name, a trademark, a web domain, and a social media username. And it can do that all in one go. You can check your potential name for all the areas you might want to use now or in the future. Go to the OneCheck website and enter the name and click Search. If it's not already in use, from the results you can then reserve your business name, register your domain name, and get started with trademark verification. You can also create social media usernames from that point. As an additional service, OneCheck will also check registered company names, web domains, and social media use names compared to any trademarks. Now, registering business names or web domains doesn't automatically give a business a trademark, so you should also check via OneCheck, and that provides a starting point if you wish to register a trademark with the Intellectual Property Office of New Zealand at a later date, maybe in your business life. If you're in business in New Zealand, you will probably have to register for GST at some point. Well, we know that GST is a goods and services tax that is added to most products and services in New Zealand. If you are trading as a business, there may come a time that you will need or want to register for GST. The standard rate for GST is 15% on goods and services bought and sold in New Zealand. Now, that same 15% is also paid on imported goods. It's added to the price of the goods, including the shipping costs, and is usually paid before customs will release the shipment to the customer. Now, there are some exceptions to the 15% charge. GST is charged at a zero rate for exports, and for land that is sold between GST-registered businesses is also charged at zero. Now, it's worth noting that GST is still charged, but at 0%. Now, in effect, it means that zero GST is collected, but the sales still must be reported to Inland Revenue. Now, GST is not charged on financial services like bank interest, residential rent, etc. Now, there are a couple of other exceptions, so check with Inland Revenue to see if your products, services or business qualify for those exemptions. Now, whether you are a sole trader, a contractor, a partnership or a company, and if you have an annual turnover over $60,000, GST registration is compulsory. If your turnover is lower and you expect to go over $60,000 during the financial year, you should also register. Now, whether you are registered or not, you are still getting charged the GST exclusive price when you make a purchase, but you can claim that money back when you file your GST return if you are registered. You can, if you choose, register for GST at any turnover level. So you should consult with your accountant to help you decide the appropriate time to register your business for GST. Now, in order to register, you'll need an IRD number. You should have already applied for an IRD number when you set up your LLC, your partnership, etc. You will also need bank account details for payments or refunds and a business industry code. And that's going to help IRD identify you. Now, this code is supplied by IRD and is found on their website. Now, the actual registration process is extremely simple and everything can be found on the IRD website. So if you own a business, you may want to distinguish your goods or your services in the marketplace by using a trademark. A trademark identifies a unique product or service. The New Zealand Trademarks Act of 2002 regulates trademark registration here in New Zealand. You can apply for a trademark and much more at the New Zealand Intellectual Properties Office. A trademark can become a valuable asset. Because a trademark registration can be renewed every 10 years, make sure you have a plan in place for who will look after it. Now, a company, an individual, a partnership, and other legal entities such as an incorporated society or a trust can all own a trademark. Determining who owns a trademark is a crucial choice, and while ownership may always be transferred at a later date, it's far easier if you get it right the very first time. So use Trademark Check to verify if your trademark or one similar to yours already exists on the New Zealand Trademarks Register before you apply. If your intended mark is already applied for or registered or in use or is confusingly similar to an existing trademark, your application to register a trademark may run into some serious issues. The best trademarks are one of a kind and distinctive, or used in conjunction with a variety of goods and services to avoid confusion with similar brands. The name you choose cannot be identical or almost identical to that of another company. The New Zealand government runs a website called OneCheck, which will let you compare the availability of a business name you have chosen with existing company names and domain names. Under Section 18 of the Act, phrases that are regularly used in relation to the specific products or services for which a mark is being applied for may not be distinctive. Thus, you must explicitly explain your trademark. Make a detailed description of your brand. Now, these are the kind of items that can be trademarked. Now, you might want to trademark a phrase, a picture, or a mix of the two. Perhaps a short animation with a little bit of music, a size or a colour. Include a detailed text description of anything you do, including fonts and a reference to a well-known colour palette. Include a written explanation, especially if you're using sound or music. You can then create your company's brand knowing that no one can lawfully use it against you. And you can build your business's reputation knowing nobody can legally use your name or logo or other signage to pretend to be you or your company. Starting a business in New Zealand can be great fun, but it also can be lots of stress, especially if you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes help is needed to get the right start. Now, there are many resources available to help you along the way when starting a business here in New Zealand. The MB is a government department that provides a range of services to support businesses in New Zealand. They offer advice on starting and managing a business, access to funding and grants, and information on legal and regulatory compliance. Now, this is a government website that provides a wealth of information and resources for businesses in New Zealand. They offer step-by-step guides on starting a business, information on funding and financing options, and advice on marketing and sales. Do you know the old saying about the only thing certain in life is death and taxes? Well, the Inland Revenue website, IRD, has lots of guides on matters of tax, business structure, together with easy to understand explanations regarding that tax structure. It's a good place to start to understand income tax, GST, etc. But make sure you seek expert advice from someone knowledgeable in tax law. Now, this is one area you don't want to make mistakes, as they can prove to be very, very costly. NZTE is a government agency again that helps businesses grow and succeed, but this time on the global stage, internationally. They offer a range of services including business development and networking support, export advice and training, and access to funding and overseas investment opportunities. Business Mentors New Zealand. This is a non-profit organisation that provides mentoring and support services to businesses throughout the country. They have a network of experienced business mentors who can offer guidance and advice on a range of topics from business planning to marketing and sales. Now, perhaps the most obvious benefit of finding a business mentor, now these are people who have done it before. They've walked the walk as well as talked the talk. Now, you can learn from their previous mistakes and successes. So a mentor's role is to share with you lessons from their own experience in the hopes that you can learn from them quickly and easily and without making costly mistakes. Now, depending on the type of business you're starting, there may be industry-specific organisations or trade associations in New Zealand that can provide information, resources, and networking opportunities. For example, if you're starting a tech company, you might look to join the New Zealand Technology Industry Association. Or if you're starting a restaurant, you might want to look into joining the local restaurant association. As you start your business, it's important to have a team of professionals who can help you navigate legal and financial issues. At a very minimum, you'll need a lawyer, accountant, insurance broker, and funder and banker. A business coach would, well, be a great addition as well. Now, consider hiring a lawyer to help you with contracts, trademarks, and other legal matters, as well as a financial advisor or accountant to help you with tax planning, budgeting, bookkeeping, and the other financial aspects of running a business. We've spoken about a lot of things in this video, and some of the information will need to be far more detailed than what I've given you. If you want to know more about starting a business and want tips on successfully improving your business, start right now, hit that subscribe button. So until the next video, see you again then.